You ready?
Sure.
Well, it
Are
says
you doing this
starting.
in a,
That's a good sign.
are you doing this in a single player world or the
Single
snapshots?
player.
All right.
Uploading to a server is going to suck otherwise. How do I share a link to this stream? Is it...
I can see the stream.
Is it showing up in your sub feed? I guess I can just copy the
No,
link
because I have my
here.
sub feed disabled, but I have the
I'll
actual.
just tweet it out.
Oh, and I can hear myself. Oh gosh. Mr. Josh Hunter's in chat. I have to mute the stream now. Can't hear my voice. It's weird.
Right. Stream's tweeted out. John Hunter's here. Hi, John Hunter. In Thief.
He said he got. I think he got it in his sub feed,
Oh, okay.
which
In
is good.
Thief. That kind of thief. Okay. Yeah, so I have it's gonna print a lot of information, I think now. So it's gonna say either bat grenades or yeah, it says bat grenades instead of Enderman support class, right? But you also see BG pulse and Enderman support class pulse. So both modules are running, but bat grenades is in charge. So both modules have both module folders, bat grenades and Enderman support class have got a tick function, but they have a priority. So what we can do is we can do datapack disable bat grenades, right? Which will then cause Enderman support class to take over the tick role automatically, which is quite nice. So now Enderman support class is in charge of clocking, and you can see that it's still sending pulses to itself. If we then re-enable bat grenades, it then takes over again. If we disable Enderman support class, bat grenades continues to be in charge, but if we then enable Enderman support class and then we put last, which means that it's loaded last, which means it has priority, then Enderman support class takes over, right? So what we want to do is if somebody installs a new module and the module has the most recent clocking code, we want it to take priority. But the problem is that the module is going to have to disable itself to do that. So I'm not sure whether we can do it, and I'm wondering whether we can make it disable, and like if we put the disable command in the function file and then enable it on the next line, whether it will just stop at the disabled line or whether it will like finish the file.
Okay. I would think it would finish the file because as far as I know, there's not like a function break
Yeah, we'll have to
like
see if
thing.
we'll have to see if it works. I'm still working on Foxy Boxes, but I have to update everything to 1.13 at the moment. Sorry. Yes. Hello, people. Hi, Crop. So I guess we can try.
Hold the chat. Can. Ooh.
Okay, so I'm going to. Enderman support class is currently in charge. If we reload, I think it will continue to be in charge. Yeah. If under bat grenades, under init check, which just runs on reload. If we try doing this then, so what was it? We'll disable bat grenades. And then we will... Why does disable look like it's spelt wrong? Then we'll enable it and set it to last. And then we'll also say bat grenades still running, so we can see if that appears, right?
Makes sense.
So this should then, on reload, do something. Nope, it broke everything. Oh, did it?
Alright.
Bat grenade's still running.
See which ones are enabled. If you
No,
do
it is.
Datapacks list.
It appears to be...
It's enabled last. Or back grenades is enabled last.
It appears to be lagging quite heavily as well. I don't think this is going to work.
When enabling the Datapack, I think the reload function runs. Or the load function runs.
Oh, that could be the case. In which case it's then looping.
Yeah,
which I guess is kind of what we're seeing here.
And then just taking forever because it has to parse in all of the data packs.
Mm-hmm. So this isn't going to work. The annoying thing here is that this requires like a specific name, so we can't get a different data pack to re-enable it because that data pack has probably been installed before this module existed if it's a new module.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I mean, if we could find a way to schedule a command to be run, so you disable it from the function, and then the scheduled command enables it a tick later or something. I don't know if that possible without. Well, you could like place a block in the world, but that
you could place a block.
Worry about it replacing things.
Yeah, that might be an option to have the command block on a delay, like do that. Rob is saying that they have some code already. Are you doing it so that every data pack can be like its own zip? So basically what I've got here for structure is each of these would be like a module zip that you just place in data packs. Backgrenades has got a copy of Gamemode 4, which is the main clocking, and then it has its own code. And Enderman Support Class has its own copy of Gamemode 4 and its own code. And then the idea is that every module comes with the like base clocking system for Gamemode 4, but I want the newest module to take charge, if that makes sense, because the newest module that you install will most likely be the most recently downloaded from the website and will therefore have the most up-to-date Gamemode 4 folder in it, right? And the nice thing about this, instead of having to have like a Gamemode 4 like base zip, is people don't need to remember to add that as well as all the modules. You can just literally drop back grenades in and it works, instead of people saying it's not working and you say, have you added the main zip? Since file size is no longer an issue, or like character limit, that's really nice. We can actually give sensible names to variables now for some of the bigger modules.
Or LT buff.
I'm going to miss update. Oh, I see. Question mark, space, question mark has just said that, but that's why I don't want to do that. I feel like there should be a way of a module giving itself priority. I don't know what the load order is. Like, what decides what the load order is?
I don't know if it's persistent. I was working on a test for that.
Okay.
I'll see if I can figure out if the load order is persistent. Because if it is, then we might be able to get the user to do it. Like, user, please click this chat link to run a command, or maybe there's a way to like tell the load function that this particular loading is from the data pack disabling and re-enabling itself, so don't bother checking for updates because you already did that, maybe somehow.
Yeah. Hey, Max Pickaxe. data packs will load their data based on the load order. Well, we don't know what the load order is. It is nice to see though that like it does, apart from choosing priority, it does work. Like we have 2 identical Game Mode 4 folders and they have different things inside them. Like not that one. What am I looking for? Not that one either. There we go. So back grenades has got a Game Mode 4 slow, medium, fast. Hang on. Oh yeah, it's got a tag for fast, and then it's got back grenades main in here, and then Enderman support class has the same tag, but it says Enderman support class in it. But even though one of them is in charge, it doesn't overwrite the other. Like it basically just adds both of these to fast.json, which is really good because then we can have things merge properly.
Although we are going to have issues where everything runs on the same tick, which is lag spikes, but that's a different bridge.
Crop just linked me to a GitHub for some of these modules. I don't know if this is okay, what have you got here? So you have a main clock handler instead of them being included in here. That's the thing I'm trying to do. Get rid of the need for a main clock by just having the main clock everywhere.
Plus, then it will kind of update automatically if there's ever changes to it.
Fast doesn't run twice per tick. You can see. Oh, I should fix this thing I did. Where did I put that? That was in init check, wasn't it?
You can have spaces in Datapack name. That is nice.
Can you?
Yeah, because you put it in as a string. Huh.
Oh, okay. I've been using underscores for safety.
Yeah.
No, it runs anyway to answer. Hey, I didn't reload, but it's fixed itself. I guess it reloaded itself, didn't it? Anyway, you can see that it is printing BG pulse and escape pulse once, and then it continues. So you can actually see that it is only running once. It's not pulsing twice because one of them takes priority over the other with the function files. Yeah, I mean, we should be able to. Can we use telraw command clicks to run the datapack command? We can only run one command per click, though, can't we?
I mean, technically yes, but you could also have it run a function. That's Datapacks enabled. That can run a bunch of commands. Or you could use one-click technology, which we happen to know a bit about.
That's true. Yeah, if we use a function, then we run into the same problem as before about not knowing the name of the module that needs to be in charge. Although I suppose that could be included in the pack. But then it can't be included in the pack because it'll disable itself. It has to be included in a different pack.
It seems that the load order is persistent across like world restart and stuff. Like once you specify it, they seem to stay in that order until something changes it. Either a new pack is added or you change it with the datapack command. And I think new ones just go right on the end on their own.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I think new datapacks just go right on the end of the loading list.
So they should have highest priority?
Maybe. Double checking. With another data pack. Pack 3.
I should have... No, hang on. I think Datapack should be able to tell if they are supposed to be first but aren't. So that would be a good step. I'm going to get rid of... Actually, we probably still want to be able to see the load order. Yeah, I don't know. By the way, it is brackets, the editor. I'm just trying to collapse some of this stuff. Enderman support. Okay, yeah, that's a bit tidier. I don't know how to do this now.
It seems to me that whenever you add a new data pack, it does just tack onto the end.
What happens if you cut, like, remove one of the data packs from the folder, or like remove the manifest file, then reload?
How can I invalidate one of these?
Exactly, yeah. See whether it's like the last, like the saved by date or the creation date, or whether it's something else.
I think destroying the MC meta will destroy the pack.
Crop, you're saying your implementation has an advancement that is to be used as a parent for things like get blown up by a bat. I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about like an advancement tree? I think Special wrote one for like all the modules.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, how does that look if you don't have all the modules installed?
That's
Or was it
the
more
tricky part.
designed? Was it more designed
The
for...
one that I had was for all of the ones specifically put on Gamemode 4D.
Right. Also allows to add your module to a slow clock on 16 different ticks. Okay, that's cool. To spread it. Yeah, we should think about that. Like, can we Minecraftify your butter spreader thing?
Not easily.
No.
As far as I know, it was a lot of recursion, that's for sure. And then
In JavaScript, yeah.
Yeah, not the best language for it, but it was the one I knew the best for it. Although it might still be possible to like incorporate that into the Datapack system if we wanted to use that as an external tool. Like have it do the calculations and then you import those timing series into the Datapack world somehow. And if not, it just picks a less than ideal placement for the modules, like one per tick going down the line.
Yeah, that could be an option. Spreading the module execution did improve the lag quite a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. Didn't do rigorous testing without it, but it seems a lot smoother.
Yeah, I usually use Notepad++, by the way, but I like the navigation tree for this because there's a lot of subfolders and files to flick between. Yeah, spreading it's going to be interesting.
Might be able to use like fake player scores, 'cause that wouldn't require any entity in the world. And with the if score, it's really easy to use.
Yeah.
Although
But
we could also use Misode's like suggestion, where we just find like the optimal, like try to calculate like a tick value for all the modules that
yeah,
what combination is fairly well spread out.
yeah, like just a set tick for each one. That would be an option.
Yeah,
And maybe
that'd be a lot more manual though.
it's a shame I didn't put any data into the site to track like how many views each module got to see what's like most commonly downloaded, so we could spread the most common ones around. We could probably guess which ones are used most often, but why use a notepad program when you can use MS Paint?
We data pack in MS Paint. Yes.
Foxy Boxes is still in development. I'm in the process of updating it to 1.13, which has just changed everything. You can even see it right here. Boop. Huh.
That's a backup, I hope,
What do you mean?
in case something breaks.
Uh,
Oh, never mind. I thought you were opening. Sorry.
no, I'm not opening it. You don't need to see that right now.
I blinked and missed like 20-second stuff. It seems that the data pack does. The order does like persist across world restarts, at least in single player. And whenever you add a new pack, it does seem to just add to the end. If a pack dies for some reason, it just is dropped from the list.
How often do you think we need to update the base clocking system for these modules anyway? Like,
I would hope never.
I think. Well, what does it do? It
Be more than once.
So the base modules, that's anything inside the Gamemode 4 folder, has clock speeds. So if we wanted a new clock speed, we'd have to update it. And it has an update function which handles updating for all other modules. So it prints the checking for updates message. It checks if Gamemode 4 hasn't been used before, and if it hasn't been used before, then it has an init function which defines scoreboards. So I suppose if we needed to add any new global scoreboards or entities, this would need updating. We don't need this one anymore. Or that one. Wait. What was that one before? No, we do want that. Yeah. Just the one about players logging back in or logging out that we don't need anymore. Place B before each player name to colour it. I mean, these scoreboards are usually invisible, right? Would that be just to make it clear that it's a fake player, I guess? Could be an interesting option. What do you think, Special?
Maybe. I mean, you can also put the pound sign so it never shows up.
Oh, really?
In the side. Yeah, if you put a...
So, like...
hashtag fake player, it'll never show up in the sidebar. At least in 1.12.
Oh, not that pound sign. Not the British pound. The Octothorpe.
No, sorry, the Octothorpe, the hashtag, the slightly tilted sharp sign.
Yeah, the hash brown. That's interesting.
I don't know if I believe it's intentional. Like it hides.
But it's still queryable.
Yeah, it's still a player that exists.
All of these. I love that it's still like trying to run even though all the scoreboards are gone. Reload. Oops. I think I removed something we still need. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is... We still use it, we just don't use it for players anymore, so we'll make it dummy.
Yeah.
No more Rule Britannia. Oh, check. Did I set that to the sidebar? What did that say? Already showing? I guess there's no...
If it's the only one that has a score, then it doesn't show up. If you do what is it? What's the command? Scoreboard query?
I think they removed that. Yeah.
Scoreboard, players, get. There it is. Then the game mode 4, hashtag game mode 4.
Oh yeah, it's a hashtag.
But its name still has the Octothorpe in it. Well.
Can't set value. None is... Can't get, none is set. Maybe that's not working then. Oh, that found it. Game 4 has 1. So it's not part of the name, it's just a extra note, I guess, about the visibility.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know if this actually... I think we should probably leave these visible, because if somebody needs to debug, they should be able to see these things, right? Right? Special?
I mean, if you're... Sorry, if you're... My computer's a little bit struggling, and I don't know why. If you do know to put the scoreboard visible, I guess that would mean that you're definitely trying to look for it. And you know how to turn off the scoreboard visibility if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually hidden for people, isn't it? And these scoreboards are just for Game Mode 4.
Maybe we should leave it visible, just in case.
Yeah.
Since we're not actually showing the scoreboard intentionally.
No. Do you think that GM4 modules, which is just literally a module adds its name to that list to see if it's been installed yet, do you think that should just be part of the upcheck scoreboard?
Like for a list of installed modules?
Yeah.
Would that be printed at like
Oh yeah, if we want to print it, then I suppose we want everything in one scoreboard. So we can just say all players with a score of 1 in Game Mode 4 modules, print that.
Either that or just use the Datapack list. Although that would show other non-Game Mode 4 Datapacks, I suppose.
No, I mean, we can use this scoreboard to print the names.
Yeah.
Potentially. I'm just going to get rid of this say command. Yeah, that's better. So both modules are running fine now. They are running in the same tick though. We should probably look at crops spreading system, or like use the spreading system I feel like this is a little laggy at the moment, but I think that might just be 1.13. I mean,
Yeah, I just had to close my game because it was lagging too much and using 100% of my CPU.
yeah, I think 1.13 is still a
I
bit
don't know if
weird.
it's I don't know if it's I hope it's 1.13 and not the modules.
Spider is not a stream mod because this is the first time I've ever streamed on YouTube and hadn't thought about that. There you go. You happy now? Spider the robot mod. And yes, Toffee, we're planning to move all modules to Datapacks for 1.13 because it lets us use loot tables. And
true.
I don't know if there are really any other advantages. I guess it makes installing. I don't know if it actually makes installing
different.
easier. It makes installing different. Yeah, I mean, it's easier if you don't know how folders work to use one clicks. But for like multi-clicks, we don't have character limits anymore and stuff. So for multi-click, it's probably easier to just drop a datapack file in.
Plus, with the 1.13, all the commands are like 7 times the length now, so it makes one clicks a bit harder.
Oh yeah, because they've added all of the speech marks inside speech marks, haven't they? Like all the extra
that was in
speech
1.12, and that was dealable. But like execute has like, if you just wanted to like,
oh yeah,
set up the entity, it's like execute as this entity at themselves. I guess you don't need the as, but
yeah.
execute at this entity, which the selectors, instead of just name equals this, c equals 1, name equals this, sort equals distance, c limit equals 1.
Yeah.
Run set block above the head, and yeah.
Execute if and execute unless has been so good for this though, because it's such an efficient way, I think, of checking whether the rest of the command needs to be run without having, because before you had to use like stats before they included execute if and execute unless to like store the result, the success of the previous score and stuff when Datapacks first came out, and it was a horrible mess. So I'm glad they added this.
I mean, it will make something shorter.
You can do it with recursion and loops in a tick with command blocks, can't you? I guess they're easier to do with functions.
Yeah, they're way easier with functions.
The one thing functions are missing is a sensible way of doing a one-tick delay.
Yeah.
Like there's quite a few
there's
a few of our modules that use one-tick delays.
The only thing that I can think of, like off the top of my head, which I don't particularly like because it uses the world, is placing a always active command block that deletes itself afterwards, because that'll take a tick before it processes.
Yeah.
But
I think
that's a block in the world.
Last time I asked the Discord, the Minecraft commands Discord, about this, they said that people just use a scoreboard to count a tick.
And then run a command, which is a bit.
Well, you have to do a lot of like.
For one tick.
You have to put a fake player in a scoreboard. You have to set the score of the player. You have to test the score of the player, and you have to run something if the score of the player is correct. And it works. It feels a bit like there should be a better way, you know?
Yeah.
It feels wrong. It really feels like, and even if like if you call a function inside a function file, that function that is called runs in the same tick as well. So you can't even delay using a function to function jump.
We'll just make our function so laggy by the time the function we want to run is running, it's 20 milliseconds later.
I want to know if there's any way that we can optimize tick delays for Gamemode 4 in some way, like making them all the same in a way where we can almost queue any delays that need to happen or something. I feel like it's wrong. We might have to do it. It might be the only way to use the scoreboard to just count one tick, but yeah.
The thing I don't like about that is because even if you have to count one tick, you have to check every tick before that if that function that you're trying to delay a tick in the future needs to run. Because the first function that's going to be delaying some other function has to also check whether that delay function needs to run before it tells it to run, so that it runs the next tick. If that makes any sense.
Say that again.
Like if you need to delay a function one tick, something has to always be checking if that function has been told to run. Something always has to be checking that score.
Yeah.
Even if you're not wanting to run it. And that, I don't know, that my instincts are telling me don't do that. But...
Yeah, I think that's what my problem is with it as well. You have to always be checking. Whereas with a command block delay of a tick, it's all about like the whole line only runs under a certain condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess everything that happens in the next tick needs to be in its own function file anyway, so all of that will only run if the check succeeds.
Yeah. I mean, area effect clouds are also a good multi-tick counter since they count themselves down and die at the end of their life. But it's
yeah, somebody said that in the chat.
They have to know what to. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
MC script. I've heard of this. Spider Robot Man posts in the chat. It's like it lets you like write as if it was more of a sort of JavaScript style language, and so you can write like loops and stuff, and it just compiles it into actual function files.
Oh, it's not in English. Okay.
Hmm?
Unless there's an English somewhere in here. I was looking at the documentation.html. It's not in English. I'm an American. I only know one language.
I nearly asked in German, which language is it in? Which language is it in?
No idea.
Where are you even seeing a format file?
Just HTML or documentation.html. Oh, there's an English version right below it.
Oh, it's German. Well, that's all right.
I didn't notice the English one, which says German documentation is found here.
This could be really handy as long as the files it creates, like the compiling, is the efficiency level we need for Gamemode 4, if that makes sense. I guess we'd have to test it because it depends on like what the kind of output it compiles is, because by doing it by hand, I guess this is probably what a lot of machine coders thought when higher level programming languages first came in. Yeah, but your thing might automatically be able to compile your code into machine code, but it won't be working case by case with the most efficiency for each for each line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to look at this at some point though. It could be pretty cool.
This to me seems like it would be useful when you need to do like very large function trees. Like if you're trying to generate a bunch of just tedious stuff where you're checking a bunch of different blocks and hard-coded values.
Like using a while loop effectively.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a bit lost now. What are we actually doing? We haven't really made any changes here during this stream. Are we going to assume that the module in charge is the newest? Do we want it to tell the player if it's wrong?
I mean, if the newest module always has... If we always put the newest module in charge, which is the last one loaded, which I assume is the one that has like all the replace functions that run. If that's the one, if that's always last, the newest one is always last.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to assume that the newest one, like it was just downloaded from the website, like it wasn't from 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. and that it would have the most recent clock score.
Yeah, I hope that we don't need to change it very often anyway.
If we assume that the newest module always has the newest clocking system, we just have to make sure if we ever update the clocking system, we update every data pack to have the newest clocking system on the website.
Yeah,
So
I had
it
been
all
planning on
down
just building that zip on download.
with the CSS or some
No, PHP.
PHP.
Like with
3 letters,
with
I was
PHP,
close.
you can build zips of files. So I think we could upload like basically the Gamemode 4 folder, and just have it build the Gamemode 4 folder, the Minecraft folder, and the module folder together into one zip and give them that to download.
Then
We need to work out how to do it, but I'm pretty sure it's fairly doable. I'm sure there's a lot of tutorials for it. I mean, Zane and Mizod are saying exactly what I think. It could create a lot of unnecessary files that could decrease efficiency. And we've learned that it's not just us being picky. We have to be really, really as efficient as we can with these. I think my timings might still be wrong. Yeah, they are wrong. I thought it was running a bit slow. You told me what the timings were the other day.
my stream frozen? No. Good.
8, 16, and 1. So fast is 60 ticks.
6D?
No. 16.
Oh.
Medium is 16. Fast is 8 ticks. And then I guess 20 hertz repeat is 1. And then I guess this would be like...
Do we have anything that runs slower than 16 ticks?
I
guess speed paths. No,
possibly
not.
Is
What's
speed
the one
paths
that
20
jumps
hertz?
high?
Doesn't Sauber Cauldrons have it still have a different speed?
Yeah, I think it goes every 8. On Gamemode 4D, we set it to every 8, and it seems to work fine. That's what the spreader assumes it to run. Me and Blue made a spreadsheet of all the module timings a while ago. See if I can find that. I really need to organize my Google Drive. Bit of a mess.
Your question mark. You say your functions run over 100 commands per tick passively. It's not about how many commands, it's what the commands are doing. Like some commands, like creating a scoreboard, is very low impact, but a clone command or a fill command or even a set block command will require a lot more. And then like an execute, like an entity data or a data command might be sort of medium level on that.
It also depends a lot on what your selectors are doing.
Yeah, how many entities are found.
If I remember a conversation from the command Discord, Minecraft commands Discord, like I think resolving selectors is still one of the laggiest things you can do with commands, and functions do help with that because you can have an entity execute a function and then all of the selectors within that function can be like @s or whatever, and they don't have to be run. But
Right.
selectors are still dangerous.
Yeah, because I guess every time a selector is called, the game does have to run through absolutely every single entity. I suppose. Yeah,
It does.
with at
There are
A, it
some,
probably just has to do
like-
players, but with at E, it probably has to run through every entity just to check its type to begin with.
Yeah, there's a whole like the way it does things is actually fairly efficient. Like it goes through certain what do you call it? Certain arguments in the selector first, trying to like get to as few entities as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I have a record somewhere of that order, but although with the new sort arbitrary thing, that means you can do a lot more selectors. Since it doesn't have to sort them. In 1.12, every time you do a selector, it sorts the entire list of entities by distance. And in 1.13, you don't have to go through that check.
Hmm. How are we going to do version checks? If we installed a new module and the module had a list of modules and their current version number, then it could.
There's a version number in the pack MC meta. Can we get to that at all?
With commands, no.
Access?
But you'll notice that with like back grenades, when I initialize it, I'm setting back grenades in modules to 1, so that could be our version number. So then if somebody downloaded version 2 of back grenades, it would set it to 2 instead. So maybe if we say that back grenades is the old module and Enderman support class is the new one, under Enderman support class init check. If back grenades, that should be Enderman support class, I think. I copied this file from the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So if the score Enderman support class Gamemode for modules matches 1, let's make that all higher. Wait, no, because then it wouldn't update. Hang on, ignoring that. This is not updating itself. It's updating. Yeah, it's it's updating something else. So it runs the Enderman support class init setup. I guess here it would go. After it's installed itself, it would then check all the existing modules. So it could do something like execute if score bat grenades GM4 modules matches less than
Whatever the
2. We'll say that 2 is the newest version number and back grenades is set to 1. So this should execute if the score is 1 or less, which is 1 less than the current version number. Does that make sense?
2.
If it's not 2.
So that'll be like and we just have to have a list of all of the
Yeah.
everything.
Bat grenades is out
Could
of
we
date,
assemble-
which can be generated automatically by the modules table that's already on the site.
Can it assemble these MC function files with?
Oh yeah, it's just a text file.
All right. I wasn't sure if it had to like.
It should be
or-
possible. We'll have to do it with PHP, but it should be possible. This is a would like, but not necessarily need. So this should say bat grenades is out of date when we. It won't say bat grenades is out of date when I reload now because Enema support class is already installed. Yeah, it didn't. But if I. Why is. This needs to be Enderman support class as well. So that adds it to the Gamemode 4 modules. Check. Right? Why didn't that reload?
No updates.
It.
Enderman support class is getting a score.
So under init check. Execute unless score Enderman support class module matches one or more run function Enderman support class init. Let me check there's no errors in any of this. Oh wow. Oh, it does not like that. I think it's been outputting so much text. Can
My output log crashes after like so long.
Can I clear
I don't think
this?
Stored it.
Huh?
I don't know if you can sort it or stuff. There's a filter text though, actually, at the top. I don't know what that does. Never used it.
Let's just get rid of these pulse messages and restart.
Sound effects or particles or something.
I just wanted to check they were clocking, but we know they are now, so. Blessed silence. Won't let me scroll down though. There we go. Could not load function init. Incorrect argument for command position 1. Line 13. Init line 13.
Something's up with the .1.
That's just a blank line.
Can you? Oh, I don't think you can have blank line.
But
Can you?
there are blank lines everywhere else. The other modules have them.
Oh.
Couldn't load Enderman support
run.
functions in it.
You forgot the run. Run, say bat grenades.
Oh yeah.
You gotta put the run.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
That throws me off every time.
Okay, so
There it is.
bat grenades is out of date. Yeah, okay. If we now set back, if we reload again, is it going to say it again? It shouldn't because it's already installed. Yeah. So now if we
Alright.
scoreboard players reset Enderman support class Gamemode 4 modules, and then we set scoreboard players set bat grenades Gamemode 4 modules 2, and then reload, it should just go everything's fine. Nope. Wait. It installed bat grenades even though bat grenades was already installed. I probably don't check 1 dot dot. I think I probably just check for 1. Back grenades.
If matches 1.
Init. Check. Matches 1 or more. Although, if back grenades is installed
we have
and
negative version numbers.
if back grenades is installed and we drop in a new back grenades file, that's fine unless it needs to declare a new scoreboard that might have been added for some reason, or like a new default value. In which case it needs to run the init check again, right? So we should probably actually have this be the exact version number, so that if the version number no longer matches the file, it reinstalls itself.
That makes sense. So that way it always has everything it needs. So when you update, it's effectively reinstalling. Unless we had a way that when you remove a data pack, it also removes its like installed score, which I don't think you can do.
So it set its back grenades number back to 2. So if we reload now, nothing will happen. Or it might, yeah, nothing will happen because we've now done that check. If we remove that and reload, it should reinstall Enderman support class but leave back grenades alone. Yeah. If we now set back grenades to 1, remove Enderman support class and reload, then it should reinstall back grenades. Or no, it'll say it's out of date, yeah.
Sure. If it's out of date, can you just disable it? Or should you leave it? No, because they might not want to update.
No, they don't necessarily have to update, although I suppose they might need to. We also might... like, is it out of date if they're running an older version of Minecraft? But then the new module probably doesn't work.
The hope with 1.13 is that new updates will not break commands. Only add to them.
Yeah.
Like after 1.13. That was the hope. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah, there is a way of getting the Minecraft version number into a scoreboard. We could even detect when the world is updated to a new version of Minecraft and print a message saying, by the way, your modules might be out of date. Do you want to go here and check? Because every version of Minecraft has a new... Oh, that's going to be annoying though. Like 1.12 and 1.12.1 have different version numbers, even though like commands work fine on all of them. So if you upgrade from 12 to 12.1 and everything's fine, and Gamemode 4 is just like, oh my god, everything's broken, and then you have to download every module again, that would be annoying.
Could we have an update module almost, or not like an update module, like an out-of-date checker module? So if the game updates, it's like, here, download this module, and it just has that list of version numbers.
Yeah, I'd actually been considering doing this with the 2.0 ones. That's why all of the modules have got version number tags, so that we could have made a diagnostic module. We just didn't. Hey, Dragon.
That's what the help channel's for.
I know. But yeah, we could do that. I suppose they'll notice if modules stop working, right?
Probably.
Probably.
I mean, if there's a message that says this might be broken and then it's actually broken, they hopefully won't complain that it's not working. Maybe.
Yeah. I would put the version number on the file name, but that means that if you paste back grenades 3.1 into this folder and back grenades 3.0 is here, then you'll have 2 back grenade files, and they will do something. I guess the most recent one would take priority, like the rest of the modules would. Because they have all the same namespaces.
But I think both back grenades would still run. both. There might be a. Can you have a namespace
Whoa,
confliction
okay.
if things are like named the same thing?
Minecraft just crashed.
Welcome to 1.13.
Oh, it didn't crash. It just minimized itself for some reason. Well, I just closed the output log, so yay.
Oh well. We don't need that old thing anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what to do next here. We seem to be able to check other modules as part of the init. I think it's best, like, there's init check, which runs every time the world loads. And then there's init, which will only run if Enderman support class is not installed. I think we should put it as init, because otherwise players might get fed up with a message every time they re-log in. Whereas this way it'll only do it once.
Okay.
We can make this a clickable tell rule saying Bat Grenades is out of date. Click here to download the latest version from the website. We do still have the problem that this happens before the player logs in, so you don't actually see it. You only see it in the chat log, in the console log.
Oh.
I still don't know what a good way of queuing these tell rules for when the player's actually online would be.
Place a block in front of. No, you don't know where they are.
You don't know where they are till they've logged in.
That's annoying.
You can't execute off them until they're online. Yeah, it is.
I mean, back to the delay issue. How to delay a command or function.
We could reserve a space as part of Gamemode 4 at world spawn. I mean, Gamemode 4 currently already kind of does that with a special room or wherever you drop your command blocks. But with that, you're physically and intentionally placing them in a spot you've chosen. I don't
Whereas
think...
this might not.
Like, I think most of the time the world spawn origin at bedrock level will be fine. If somebody used it on something like Skyblock, it might cause like a floating command block or something to appear. But then in survival you can't mine it or anything.
With datapacks, we shouldn't have the issue of people wondering where it's gone, like we did with the old like custom crafters installing at Bedrock.
The old like 1.0 modules installed at bedrock level, didn't they? Rather than the relative to the player. And then people were always really confused as to where it was. So we changed it. I don't know what Matt Groening is doing in our chat. I think some of these modules are going to require entities somewhere anyway.
I want to think, like, go through the ones that are in 1.12, which of them require entities. For random stuff, like having a couple of entities and using @r is easy, but you could also use a pseudo random number generator.
Yeah.
But that might be overkill for some things, maybe.
Another thing is that I guess a lot of the entities used in modules are just like changing block data on a chain in the command block module, which we don't need to do anymore. Like if you execute off the player to execute off the module armor stand to execute on a block relative to itself to start the chain, but we don't need to do that anymore because we can just use function.
So that makes that easier.
Yeah.
I know Levity, the Shamir, requires an entity at the module.
Does it?
Yeah. Although that could probably be
What's that used
worked
for?
around. It's to help with, so because how do you say? It's like so that player stays on the same level until they go so far from where they started that point is marked by an area effect cloud. And outside that a radius of that area effect cloud they start sinking. But if there's no area effect clouds of that type, then they just fall. Because if there's no entity that they're not outside of a range of, the command just stops there,
Oh,
which is a problem.
okay.
So there's just forever lasting area effect cloud at the command blocks to ensure that you don't fall from the sky.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Probably wasn't the best explanation, but it's fine.
You score back grenades game before matches. Hmm. We can queue a
Wait,
command. Sorry.
Do you see these installing Enderman support class Telros? I thought you did.
You see the Telraw if you use /reload, and you see, but you don't see.
Oh, only if you use reload.
Only if you use reload,
Not
this line appears. And it also appears in. I think it might appear in the log. But if there's no players online, i.e., unless entity at P, then it just prints a say command into the console log.
Yeah.
So if you restart restart the world.
I got confused because I remember seeing these messages in your chat, and I'm like, wait, I thought those didn't print, but you were using reload.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I don't seem to have a color specified for this.
Hi, door.
Where's the color?
Is there a default color now?
No, I swear it used to have a color. Is it off screen somehow? No. But they're appearing as blue. Look at them.
Colors have it.
Oh no, they are white. Look.
Just the checking for updates and updates completed.
Yeah, I guess I
right.
forgot to specify a color. Okay. Hey, door. Module spreading like crop suggested. What do you mean? That's to do with like spreading when they run commands. Weren't we talking about entities in the world? I'm not sure. I do wonder how we're going. I wonder how we're going to queue commands for people to see when they log in, because or queue messages, because I think we'd have to like constantly check players' scores to see if they are missing a score, like a has seen message score.
Hmm.
I think that's how I'd do it. I'd have a. You could have a message needs to be displayed fake player. If that's set to 1, then it causes a clock to check for players that are eligible, i.e. in creative, that don't have the score. Print the message to them and then remove the fake player score or set it to 0 to say that it no longer needs to print a message. But then you can't have a queue of messages. You can just have the most recent message that needs to be said. And you also have to have a list of all the possible messages that could be said. Which is a bit annoying.
That's a lot of messages.
Of course, if you placed some command blocks, it'd be fine. But again, if you have more than one module trying to say something and they all try to place in the same space, because you could have a.
I mean, you could have like a pointer almost. Place a command block and then teleport some pointer entity one block to the left, and then the next thing that had to say command to the queue would just go to the new location.
Yeah, that's true.
Exceed a certain number of scheduled messages in one tick, then it shouldn't break out of this bedrock box if we add one.
I mean, there are 50 modules, so that's potentially 50 messages to queue.
I thought there were way more than 50.
There may be more than 50.
74. There's 74.
What? Where'd you get that number from?
Me and Blue's large list of every module.
Seriously?
I suppose
it's like expansion packs and stuff as well.
Yeah. There's a few outdated ones that probably don't count, like TNT landmines, Ninja smoke balls, social creepers, soon to be ink spitting squid. But 74 of them.
If they're just messages, no click event, you could spawn armor stands with the message as a name.
And
that's a good point.
Say,
and then say
the entity.
Say the entities with a message tag, and then kill entities with a message tag. That could work.
Be less pretty, but it'd be a thing.
Yeah. It would queue nicely, and it wouldn't destroy anything if we use like invisible armor stands or area effect clouds. In fact, if we used area effect clouds, they'd kill themselves directly after printing the message because they'd just die of old age.
Yeah. Only in Minecraft commands do we wish for an entity that kills themselves.
Yeah, we'd still need a command that waits for players, like tries to execute off players all the time.
Although it could just be if entity message armor stand, or I'm so used to saying armor stand. If message entity exists, and if player exists, then run it. And if there's no messages, it just won't check for players. But it would still have to constantly check for messages.
Okay, so we set messages to 1. Then we... Oh god, custom names have weird formats now.
Yeah, it's a JSON text thing.
It's horrible.
If you want to do it without, there's the shorthand, which is quotation mark / quotation mark text / quotation mark.
Yes, I think that's what I saw earlier. Custom name.
Yeah, it's like a
bat grenades is out of date.
And now we can make them pretty colors, which is nice. Yeah, you got to put the / first, because the inner quote's the one being escaped.
Right. Yeah.
It's weird.
Which we could color because it's a colored name. Oh yeah, you can color names now. Yeah.
You just have to replace that with the formal JSON object.
Yeah.
Instead of that.
And then can we also do tags? Is it tags or tag? It's tags, isn't it?
Yeah, tags.
Okay.
You have to give it a duration and stuff.
Yeah, we do. That's just there now.
It might have it might have just died in. I don't exactly remember. You had an exclamation point.
What did I just run?
You killed everything.
I think there's items everywhere now, and it's not happy. I thought they fixed this so that if you had an incorrect format, it would...
It wasn't incorrect. You said kill everything not equals area effect cloud.
Oh, did I...
Yeah, you can
Type an
autocomplete
exclamation-
with the not sign, apparently.
Oh.
And it's the option above the not.
Oh my god, okay.
Starts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So like if you
Type.
go into type, the autocomplete for type, the first one is not, and the second one is not.
Well, I'm going to do this again because my thing is lagging so much, and I think it might be items. It doesn't seem happy at all.
Half
That's
a dragon.
Anyway, it's almost certainly dead now. Duration.
Tries to kill an area effect cloud, kills everything twice.
I think in theory it wouldn't start ticking down until a player logs in, right? Although spawn chunks would be active when the player's not there.
If the functions are running, I think entities are getting processed.
So we have to guess how long players are going to take to log
run
in.
At a weird time.
I guess we'll have
do run at a weird time.
They do.
It's like before
okay.
entity.
Well, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna put it here. We don't need to extra escape things in here anymore, do we? I'm pretty sure we don't.
No.
Okay, so that's that. And then
I mean, that's like 5 seconds. That should be plenty of time, I hope.
Under... I guess we can put it under slow. Which runs every 120 ticks. Oh, that's running the slow category, which also runs Gamemode for slow. Okay, gotcha. So we will go execute if entity at c equals 1, because that has to be one entity that
limit
returns.
Limit equals 1.
Oh, limit equals 1.
Limit.
Thank you. Tag
quite interesting.
equals message. Type equals area effect cloud. Yeah? Yeah, that looks right. Probably. Say at E type equals area effect cloud tag.
Is tag a compound now because tags plural, or is it tag equals tag equals?
I think you can still only check for one tag. I might be wrong.
No, you can check for more than one now. I just don't remember if they changed it to just be like tag equals comma tag equals or tags equals and then like a list.
I'm pretty sure I've done tag checking recently in 1.13.
All right. To the wiki just in case. Yeah, it is just tag equals, etc. Okay.
Yeah.
Scores are what was moved to a list. Okay.
So if there is a player logged in, and if there's an entity called message, say the message right? And then the second time we just kill the messages.
Don't shoot the messenger. Except do shoot the messenger.
So we... So we summon the entity. We say it. Yeah, and then we kill it. That seems to work.
Could also use a Telra here, I suppose, to make it prettier. Like, following... I think Misode said something about it, like, instead of naming it back grenades is out of date, just back grenades, and then the Telra with the selectors.
Oh,
Thing.
Yeah, I see. So...
That way it wouldn't say back grenades is out of date, comma, Enderman support class is out of date, and liquid tanks is out of date.
Yeah.
Which might get a bit cluttered.
We're going to have a problem with the trailing comma.
Where?
If there's multiple modules, back grenades, comma, Enderman support class,
if you,
comma, are out of date.
If you use in the Telrod, it adds comma, I believe. Like if you do, like insert the text of a selector.
Oh, the entities. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I think it adds commas, because it does like entity, comma, entity, comma, entity, and entity. Like it adds the and as well.
Just for now, let's just have 2 of these. And then we can say tell add text selector at e type equals area effect cloud
Tag equals message.
tag equals message.
Yeah. The default sort is arbitrary, right?
I don't know. Can we sort alphabetically?
Not by name. I don't know if you need to, if adding the sort equals arbitrary helps that. It is default, okay. Because that doesn't do the whole distance sorting stuff.
Right. I think we actually did a thing that we're not using. We set the messages score to 1, but we don't actually check that. We just check to see if the entities exist on load, which is nice because it only happens when the world loads, so it's not a constant check. So if we do this, Oh no, we do have it under the clock, don't we? We have it under the slow clock.
Do you have the clocks running on the proper ticks yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's game mode, isn't it? Not mode.
Yeah.
Okay. So this should just print nothing. Scoreboard objectives, remove scoreboard players, remove independence. What?
Clear.
Reset.
Maybe.
It's reset.
Yeah.
So now if we reload, nothing happened. Did we change the version check?
If matches 1
or less.
What's its value right now?
1.
1. Okay.
Did we? Oh, I closed the output log. They might have despawned.
Probably dead by now.
Yeah.
Loading and then doing it?
Yeah, they're there, so that bit's fine. So something in here is causing a problem. Possibly my... Did we check these? Wow, that's too long. Past the character count. Telraw seems fine. If entity at P... That's fine. That's also fine. That's too long to run. Command block is purple now, or pink. This is what you were talking about earlier. Special? I think Special's dead.
Hello?
Hello.
My mic somehow died. Yeah, the like the cheats items are pink, and then the call it like the rare items are yellow. It's kind of weird. You can get rid of the second run execute because you can just nest every argument in there. It says execute if entity, run execute if entity. Just get rid of the second run execute. Because you can just go if entity, if entity.
Really?
Yeah.
And somebody's saying we should do at a limit equals 1 instead of at p.
Aren't they the same?
Well, he's saying that
Oh,
it's
well, okay.
less about sorting.
Yeah. You could just do at p sort equals arbitrary. That should be the same, right? At a limit equals 1 should be the same as at p sort equals arbitrary, I think.
Could be. Unknown command position 0.
Well, where's position 0?
Oh, I don't think I copied the entire command. There we go. So that bit is working.
Is the slow function maybe not running?
It looks like it's running. Otherwise it wouldn't be setting back to 0. Oh, you're kidding me. No! Trying to press up and it just auto-completing instead.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to navigate sometimes. I think someone in the commands Discord proposed a solution, but I don't think anyone heard it. Oh, and Mo Yang.
Why is it not running now? The entity is being summoned and the slow time is running. Or
Maybe
not.
It's not.
It's not running. Is back grenades in charge? Are we putting this in the wrong... Yeah, I put it in the wrong file. Back grenades was in charge and I was editing element support class. I thought that would have made element support class in charge.
Which function is in charge? The first or the last?
The last. There's our message.
Aha.
Okay, we managed to queue a message. Man, that took a while.
That took.
But it worked, and it only messages people who are in creative. I suppose we want this in the execute so that if limit equals 1, is that the first entity it finds that has a creative game mode, or is it if the first entity it finds has the creative game mode, otherwise nothing? If that makes sense.
I think it just looks if it can find any selector that matches that. So
actually, if we do this,
I think it only looks for one. I think the limit one doesn't do anything there.
Ooh. You know what's nice
I think
about this?
did someone say that in chat?
I'm not sure. Make a separate data pack for the clock system, and when that's fully developed, add it to every module. It's not about, like, we won't release it until the clock is fully developed. I'm saying that if in future something new needs to be added to the clock that we didn't think of now, or that a new module needs for some reason. What's nice about this, right, is that if the first player that logs in, like it won't print the update required message until a creative player logs in, but it also won't kill the area effect cloud until that person logs in. But we can choose how long the message is queued for by setting the duration of the area effect cloud. So that way, if somebody plays with Gamemode 4 for years and only plays in survival, and then one day types Gamemode 4, Gamemode creative, they won't suddenly get 1,000 update messages that have just been queuing and waiting for a creative player to log in. Right?
Yeah. Maybe on world reload you should kill all the old messages. Is that maybe worth it? So that way you never have doubles.
That's true. Otherwise, every time you reload, it would queue up until somebody who was in creative logged in. I don't know if we need to limit the message to creative players. It just kind of makes sense that you want admins to see it, and admins are most likely to be them, to be in creative.
I mean, unless you're in single player.
Yeah.
Single player survival. And if they don't have cheats enabled, they're never going to get to creative.
It's a shame there's no admin tag or, like, way of telling if the world is in survival, is in single or multiplayer.
The only difference I know between the two is that single player pauses when you go to the menu.
Yeah.
The gate menu. Yeah, people are saying that the limit equals 1 and the if entity does nothing. So that's good.
Okay. So under init...
Maybe there's like a way we can give the... If there's only one player online when a module's installed, can we assume that they're an admin? Even if they're in survival, and like give them a tag or something? Or ask player when the module's installed?
I don't think there's any harm in
world.
I don't think there's any harm in messaging players on a who aren't admins about update requirements, is there?
Probably not. If someone is if there's an admin who wants to play with an outdated module, but doesn't want the message just to show, he or she could always just go into the files and disable that command.
You can also, like, if you are owning a server and you restart the server, you can probably be one of the first people who's going to log back into it anyway, right?
Yeah.
This system will print the message only to the first player that logs in that is creative. So if we just allowed it to all players, then you might potentially miss a message because some random player logged in before you on a server.
Could message every player within a certain time interval.
Then you have to keep track for each player whether they've seen the message or not yet. Which, if you've got more than one message to get across, is going to be fun. John Hunter says, say something like, tell your admin that. Ask the player if they are an admin. Yeah, because I'm sure that all the players on Gamemode 4D would tell the truth on that one. I'm pretty sure that the current Gamemode 4 modules just tell the closest player to their installation location that they're installed.
Yeah, that is the case.
But we don't really have that kind of system here. We can't.
Since there's not necessarily a player nearby installing it, it's just a player.
Yeah, technically there's never any players unless you reload.
And that's not something we're trying to depend on.
I'm kind of leaning towards just telling all players, but then there's the whole issue of the wrong player seeing it and the right player who needs to see it missing it because they weren't online when it happened. Because with current Gamemode 4 modules, you need to go into Creative to install the module, but with this, if you're playing in a survival world, you don't actually need to go into Creative to make any of these module changes.
Yeah.
So single player, you're less likely to go into Creative, less likely to be in Creative, so you'll never see the messages. Can we count the number of unique players that have ever logged into a world, and if that is one, just print to everyone? Or are we seriously overcomplicating things?
We might be. So, in a single player world, assuming the player is not in creative and doesn't reload, they install the pack and then they rejoin their world. We want that player to see it no matter what game mode they're in. But in a multiplayer server, how likely are you to restart the server when you install a new data pack?
That's true, because you don't have to, so why would you? You just kick all your players off. So you'd be more likely to reload.
Yeah.
In which case you're online to see the message.
Yeah, in single player, there's practically someone online whenever the server's up, except for that first couple ticks.
In which case, should we just tell everyone, regardless of game mode?
That might be probably the easiest.
Yeah, that sounds okay. That's a good point about players most likely being online and just using /reload for a server, because I use /reload on Gamemode 4D when we change a loot table or something, so because I don't want to have to restart the server and kick everyone off.
Yeah.
Unless you don't know about /reload as an admin.
I mean, I'd hope you would.
Yeah, if you're just a Minecraft player who wants to make a server for his friends, you might not know the ins and outs of it.
I mean, if you know how to put a zip folder in a hidden file on your computer.
We can provide some resources with this on the site as well, like instructions on how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Like if our installation tutorial starts off by saying go to your Datapack folder, paste in the file, and then we recommend that you /reload. Yeah. We recommend that you reload, but say that you can also restart.
Yeah. Find some smoother way to say that gets across that single player starting up the server is the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
the world.
Some people might also have cheats turned off in a single player world if they're playing like pure survival, in which case they won't be able to reload but they will be able to restart.
It's a lot easier to access cheats, like to turn on cheats on a multiplayer world than it is single player world.
Yeah, in single player you
can't really edit it.
You can use an editor, like an NPT editor for the world, or you can open to LAN and turn on cheats.
Yeah. But in like a server, on a server, if you don't have an op player, you can always just go to the console and op them or reload from the console.
Yeah.
Okay, message to everyone.
Okay.
we can update this system later. Remember, that's what we're designing this whole thing to do. Be updatable.
Yes.
If the print message needs to be updated, so be it.
Okay. These entities probably have to be called something like... Where have those entities gone? Where are they summoned? I thought they were under init. There they are, yeah. I think they're going to have to be like update message, because we might have other messages, but they'll need to be in a separate tell raw.
Gamemode for module, mail. The mail module just uses a bunch of messages.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to comment some of this stuff. I mean, I've already been doing it a little bit. It's a shame there's no... It'll probably be a bit clearer if you were using a text editor that colors comment lines. I don't know why this one doesn't. I guess because it's an MC function file. Like, I probably have to set the language to like something that highlights comments.
It probably has no idea what language, like, no idea what type of file or anything you're doing.
Yeah.
I can drag the thing in Discord.
You can drag the thing in Discord?
Yeah, the share screen little, when you're in a different text server, it like puts a picture-in-picture of the share screen.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's been in the bottom corner blocking parts of messages for like an hour now. And it's been like, I've been like trying to scroll so I can see the end of the message, but I can just drag the picture-in-picture around.
Okay, so we have individual clocking, where the newest module is most likely in charge. We have the ability to check other modules are up to date when you install a new one. And we can communicate to the player on a delay should they not be logged in, waiting until they do log in. That seems pretty good. I'm kind of tempted to stop here. We've been going for 1 hour and 48 minutes.
Really? Already?
Yes.
Wow.
But we have a better viewership than Mixer.
Like, it seems like it's been 20 minutes.
We have a better viewership than Mixer because we usually get a lot less. I guess streaming on YouTube does help, because apparently Mixer's really bad at notifying people when you stream. Do you guys like me streaming on YouTube compared to Mixer? Is this easy for you to access and stuff like that?
I mean, a couple people said they got the notification in their sub box, so...
Yeah, I don't know if it also, like, bell rings you. It gives me a breakdown as well of like watch viewers over time and messages over time, which is kind of interesting. But now nobody's saying anything after I ask about the... Okay, I guess there's a bit of a delay. It's okay. Replace background to Enderman support class in this file. Where? That doesn't need to be here for Enderman support class, because that's a back grenades. If score... No, that should be back grenades, because this is checking to see whether the back grenades module is out of date. Okay, so it seems like people actually notice if I stream here. That's nice, because people don't generally come on Mixer very much. Okay.
Seems about a 20-second delay, something like that.
Okay.
The stream that I've just started, or the stream viewer just said that no, that should be back grenades or whatever.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, I think I'm going to stop here anyway. And think some more on this. Like, implementing module spreading is going to suck for this. I'll have a look at what was submitted by Crop, though. With his main clock handler shit. Hadler. Main clock Hadler shit. Alright. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.